Okay, so I asked you to look at all the examples dealing with Pete and Aaron's Jeep tour business. Now, during class, we talked about Pete. He has a Jeep that can carry anywhere between 2 and 6 people, meaning he's not going to just take one person out. He'll just cancel the trip. So that's the minimum, 2 people. Anyway, and we talked about what he could expect, how many passengers over the long run, as far as his average daily attendance. Okay, so we figured out that his expected value, okay, and the standard deviation, was 3.75, and his standard deviation was 1.09. Now, we did that during class. Now, if you look at page 365, they talk about Erin. Now, she's joined the business, and she's got a smaller Jeep. It carries between 2 and 5 people. Okay, and I'll write down what it says in the book about that. It's at the top of page 365. So here's the data for Erin. Anywhere between 2 and 5 passengers, and below are the probabilities that she will sell the tickets for those seats. Now, you could put those into list 1 and list 2, go to calculate one variable statistics, and figure out what the mean and standard deviation are. Okay, if you want to try that, you can stop the video right now, give it a shot, and I'm going to put down the answers in 3, 2, 1. There they are. Now remember what this means. She'll sell on an average of about 3.1 seats. Okay, if you took the average amount that she would sell per day, plus or minus about 1 seat. Okay, that's our standard deviation, how much we're off by. All right, now what if we combine this stuff? Because they're in the same business, right? Erin joined her brother's business, and what do they make per day? Okay, so let's take a look at that. Well, the easy part is the expected value is you just add them up. We just add these two together, okay? And if you add those together, you get 6.85. 6.85. Now, the problem is the variances. You can't just add or the standard deviations, actually. You can't just add the standard deviations. What we have to do is we have to add the variances, and this is what it looks like in the book. So here it is. So we would say that mu sub t, right here, that's the total of what they should get each day. So we're saying that together they would get almost 7 passengers a day on average. Now, to get with the standard deviations, you got to do the variance. Remember, the variance is if we square the standard deviation, that's the variance. So that's what we have to do first. So I'm going to square each one of these numbers and then add them together. Okay, so one more time. I take each one of these, I square them. That's where these guys come from right there. I add them together, and here it is. So that's my variance. I added the 2 variances. Well, how do I get the standard deviation? Well, I go back and I take the square root. And what do we get? We get 1.44, 1.441. So that's how you do that. It's a little bit trickier. Square the standard deviations, add them together, and then take the square root. Okay. So this tells us that the total passengers is about 6.85 on average, plus or minus about 1.5. Okay, and that helps us to run our business. Okay, now, what if you say, well, what's the difference between Pete and Erin? Now, what you would do is you would just simply, well, subtract these. All right, but here's the problem. It's a little confusing, but I'll try to explain it this way. The 2 Jeeps, right, they have a range of seats. You can go from 2 to 6 seats in Pete's Jeep and from 2 to 5 seats in Aaron's Jeep, and that range doesn't change. So in other words, we're not going to just subtract these two and get a really small standard deviation, what we have to do is we still need to add these together. Even if we're going to subtract, in other words, we want to find the difference. I got to say this one more time. Even if we want to find the difference between Pete and Aaron, we just subtract their values. So that's okay. But we still need to add those variances, and then we'll come up with the same answer. Okay, that's important to remember. Always add the variances to get the new standard deviation. Okay, I know that might be a little bit confusing, but just trust me on this. So remember, we have a sub tomorrow, and I would really love it if you guys would work hard for at least a half an hour on the problems that I gave you, and then you guys can relax, have a fun Friday, and play that. That game is actually called Corridor. Okay. Anyway, I hope you have fun. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope I actually learned something at my conference. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.